Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I have come with a SASS tutorial. So before proceeding, we need to understand what is SASS. If you are a web designer or a beginner in this field, then you must have already know that we use CSS for styling our websites. But while using CSS, we face some kind of difficulties when our project is big. Suppose you have thousands of lines of codes, then it is quite difficult to manage it or change something, some kind of color or any kind of styling. So it becomes very much difficult to manage it and further update it. So to solve that problem, SAS comes in. As you can see over here, it is a official SAS website, and over here as you can see it is clearly mentioned over here that it is a CSS with superpowers. So what kind of superpower will we get? We will get features of programming languages. Like if you are familiar with PHP, Java or C, then you must have understand that while we do programming, that time we can get benefit of various kinds of programming features like variables, functions and many more kind of things which we can have with a programming language. But for CSS we don't have that kind of benefits. So SAS provides programming features in CSS. Okay, so what is full form of SAS? As you can see over here, it is mentioned on the title of this page. SAS stands for syntactically awesome style sheets. Okay, so there is an word called awesome within the full form of SAS. So that means it is doing something awesome with the CSS. So we have to understand it, and that is why I'm creating this tutorial. Okay, if you are complete beginner to this, then you will understand it clearly. Otherwise, if you are somewhat familiar with SAS, then also it will be helpful for you. Okay, actually I was planning to create a tutorial series on Bootstrap 4. As you may already know that Bootstrap 4 already comes in and it's been a while in stable phase. So I wanted to create a tutorial series on Bootstrap 4, but Bootstrap 4 heavily uses SAS in its code. So that's why I thought that it would make sense to create SAS tutorial before making the Bootstrap 4 tutorial. So in that way you will understand Bootstrap 4 in a better way. So that's why today I have come with this SAS tutorial, and this SAS tutorial will be in two parts. Okay, so this is the first part. In this first part I'm going to show you three things. Okay, the first thing I will show you how we can define variables, and after that how we can use nested codes over there, and after that I will show you how we can distribute our code in different files and later compile them in a single file for the production. So these are the three features which I am going to show you in this part 1 tutorial, and after that in part 2 I will show you some more advanced feature of it. Okay, so if you are new to my channel and like this kind of tutorial, then hit the subscribe button and give this video a like. So let's get started. So first of all, we need to install SAS locally to our machine. So for that, we can go to this install menu, and over here we can see there are two options, application and command line. But we will use the command line over here. Okay, so that is the recommended way to install the SAS. Okay, we will use npm to install SAS to our machine, and for that we need to install node.js. So if you are not familiar with npm, let me tell you, npm stands for node package manager, and this npm manage the packages and the environment to run those packages. Okay, so to install npm we need to go to this nodejs.org. As you can see that latest version is mentioned over there, we need to download this LTS version. Okay, so that is recommended for most of the users. We have to click on this and download this LTS version and install it to our machine, and with this node.js we will get the npm also. Okay, if your machine has already installed node.js before, we can check that. To check if you have already installed node on your machine or not, we can use a command to check it. Okay, and for that we need to use the terminal or the command prompt for Windows user. Okay, so over here I have a terminal opened. So I'm going to type a command to check whether node is installed on my machine or not. Okay, so for that the command will be node dash dash version. Okay, so after that it is showing the version which is installed on my machine. Okay, so that's how I can see that node is already installed in my machine. And after that, for the npm version also we can check the similar thing. Okay, npm dash dash version, so that is the current version of the npm which is installed on my machine. After getting the node and npm, we will go ahead and install the SASS. So this is the command which we need to use to install the SASS to our machine. Okay, so you can copy that command and after that paste that code in your command prompt for the Windows users and in your terminal for the Mac users. And for Mac you need to provide sudo before the command. Okay, for the Windows user you don't need to use the sudo command, you can just copy paste the command which is present over there, and after that hit the enter and it will install the SASS in your machine. So I have already installed the SASS in my machine, so I will not execute the command again. So after installing it, we can check whether the SASS is installed properly on our machine or not in a similar way. Okay, so it will be SASS dash dash version. So we can see right now the SASS is installed over here and it is showing the version. So SASS is installed on our machine. Now we need to go ahead and create a project. So I have already created a project over here. Okay, so as you can see over here, that is index.html and css directory and scss directory. Okay, and I have opened the project within VS Code editor, and as you can see over here that these three files are empty currently. Okay, so right now I'm going to create a project over here and I'm going to explain you how you can use the SASS to design your website. This is our basic HTML layout. So in this I'm going to create few HTML elements and then we will go ahead with the tutorials. So as you can see over here that I have linked this HTML file with the style.css file, not the SCSS file, because SCSS file will not render in our browser. Our browser will understand the CSS code. So SASS will be used to write the code and managing the code. After the writing code in this SCSS file, we will compile it using SASS. SASS will compile it to CSS file. You will understand what do I mean by that in a moment. So within the body area, I'm going to create few HTML elements. So first of all, I'm creating a div class main content, and within the main content I'm going to give a title in h1 tag. So recently I have seen Avengers Endgame, so I'm giving a message regarding Avengers Endgame. Okay, so Avengers Endgame was awesome, and that was really awesome. I really liked the movie. And after that I'm giving a paragraph. So cast your vote for the best Avenger. So that is the message within the P tag. And currently here in India, election season is going on. So voting is very necessary for a democracy. So cast your vote for the nation. But over here in this application, we will see who is the best Avenger. Okay. So within the UL tag, I'm giving li, and within li there will be radio input and the Avengers name. Okay, so Iron Man is there, and after that let me quickly copy it 6 times and mention the main 6 Avengers over here. Okay, and let me clear you one thing, it is not going to function it. We are creating the design layout of it, it will not have actual features of it. Okay, so this is just for design and just to showcase the power of SASS, which is the main topic of this tutorial, right? So I have copied it 6 times. So I have provided all the Avengers name. Okay, and by the way, for me, best Avenger is Iron Man and Captain America, and both these heroes were really awesome in this movie. So now I saved it, and let me check it once how it is looking on our browser. So that's how our HTML is looking on the browser. So now we need to provide some styling over here. Okay, and for that we will use this input.scss file. Okay, first of all I'm going to show you how we can use variables in SAS. So for that we need to declare the variable, and to declare it we need to use a dollar sign and after that our variable name. Okay, so primary color is a variable, and within this primary color variable I'm going to provide a color. So primary color I'm giving red. So that is our variable, and now I'm going to use it on my h1 tag. Okay, and one thing you need to know that within this SCSS file we can use the CSS codes, and top of that we can use the SAS features also. So over here I'm providing font size. Okay, so font size is 30 pixel and the color is primary color. So I have saved it, and after that we need to compile this SCSS file to our CSS file. As you remember that over here we have linked the style CSS file to our HTML file, right? So we need to compile it to our CSS file, and to do that we have to use terminal, and over there we need to provide a command. So what will be the command? So I'm using inbuilt terminal within VS Code, and I have to provide the command over here. So that command is SAS, then the input file, and then the output file. So here our input file is input.scss file, right? And the scss file is located in the scss directory. So it is SAS, then the directory name, and then the file, and after that the output file, and that will be in similar way. So first I need to mention the directory name and after that the file name. Okay, now hit enter. Okay, I have made a mistake. It will be input.scss. Okay, so there was a misspelling, so hit enter. Okay, so now if I go and check this style.css file, now we can see that there is few CSS codes, and as you can see over here that color is mentioned red over here, and within the CSS file we have mentioned this variable name. Okay, so within the CSS file this variable is replaced by the value of that variable. Okay, so now if I check it once, then we can see that style is applied here properly. Okay, now I'm going to align it center. Okay, now I have saved it. Now reload the page, but nothing changes, right? So why is that? Now if I check style css file, then we can see that a style css file is not updated with the latest code, right? So to update it we need to run the command again. Okay, so I have run that command again, and after that we can see that text align center command is added over here, right? Now if I reload the page, then we can see that it is been applied. So do we need to execute this command again and again every time while we update anything in this input CSS file? That will be very much time consuming and frustrating in my opinion. So to solve that issue we have another command. Okay, so that is this SAS dash dash watch, and then the input file, then the output file. Okay, so that is the command. Now if I hit enter, then see the message over here, SAS is watching for changes, right? So while this command is executing and SAS is watching for changes, that time if I made any kind of change over here, that will automatically update it to this style.css file. Okay, so we don't need to execute the command again and again. So now we have understood how we can use the variable. Now it's time to see how we can implement nested codes within our SCSS file. Okay, so for that I have to first see the structure of our HTML. Okay, so within the main content there is h1, p and ul tag, and within ul there is li and the other tags as well. Let me wrap this within label. Okay, so we are going to use the nested code. So for that I'm changing some structure over here. So main content, so within this main content I can provide this h1 tag. Okay, so if I save it, now if I check the style css, now see the code, it's main content h1. Okay, so it's automatically updated in its css definition, in which this h1 is located within this main content class, right? So that's how we can specify css for particular section, right? And that will not get conflict with other codes. And after that I can provide ul. So for ul I will provide this style none. Okay, so as you can see currently there is bullet points, so I don't need those bullet points, so that's why I have provided lit style none. And after that we have li. We can mention style for the li as well over here, and within this li I'm going to mention a color. Okay, and for this color also I can create another variable called secondary color and give the value as well. Okay, so for the color I can use the variable over here. So now if I saved it, now reload the page once, so over here we can see that the code is updated over here, right? So if I check style css, then we can say that our css is updated and it's showing the main content ul list style none, and then main content ulli, the color is green. Okay, so it has distributed the code properly, and over here you can see the organization. So look at over here, we have mentioned the ul within main content, and in ul I have mentioned this css code, and in same level I have mentioned next HTML element, and after that I have mentioned the CSS code for that element as well. So you can see the power of SASS over here, right? So that's how we can organize big projects very easily. So that's how we can nest our code in SASS. And after that it's time to show partials. What is partials? In partials we can distribute our code to different files. Okay, and after that we will include those different files within our main file and execute them in our main css file with SASS. So let me show you how we can do that. Within this scss file I am creating a new file called colors scss, and before that colors I am giving a underscore. Okay, so underscore colors scss. So that's how we define partials. So from this input scss I am grabbing the definitions of these colors. So I have cut those variables and pasted it in this colors scss file. I have saved that file, and then I will import that file over here. Okay, so import, and over here I will just mention the file name, which is colors. Okay, I don't need to mention the underscore, I don't need to mention the extension of the file. So that's how partial works, and that's how we can import the partials in our main scss file. Okay, So now if I saved it and then check the style css file, so nothing changes over here as you can see in the codes. And if I check in the browser also, then we can see that our page is displaying as before, right? So that's how we can manage our codes in SAS. So this is the tutorial, this is the first part, and in the next part I will show you some more advanced features of it. So stay tuned for that. I will upload that part 2 very soon, and if you are watching this video later, then that part 2 is already have been uploaded, and you can get that link of that part 2 video at the end of this tutorial or in the description below. So if you like the tutorial, then give this video a thumbs up and let me know if you are excited to learn the Bootstrap 4 as well. So let me know if you are excited to learn the Bootstrap 4 in the comment below, and subscribe to this channel for more updates, more tutorials like this. So I will see you next part of this tutorial. So have a great day. Goodbye.